Don't copy YouTube resellers. Welcome to Matt's Profit Pursuit. I'm Matt. I'm a part-time reseller who sources at the Goodwill bins and sells on eBay. And I like to make what sold videos so you see what's selling right now on eBay and break down those sales to see exactly how much is made after fees, cost of goods, shipping, and taxes are taken out. And we're going to talk about why you shouldn't copy everything YouTube resellers do. But first, I got 16 orders going out today. Let's see what sold. Sold this vacuum form mask. It's from Doctor Who. It's even got some cracks in it. I paid 20 cents for this mask and it sold for $19.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $27.26, and after fees and shipping, I get $16.24. So this is a North Face jacket. This is a youth size jacket. I paid $1.57 for it and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $27.89, and after fees and shipping, I get $12.34. Sold this little Squishmallow. I think the big hype on these is over, but I still look them up just to make sure I'm not missing one that's worth a lot. I paid 70 cents for this one and it sold for $14 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $20.32, and after fees and shipping, I get $9.60. Sold this pair of jeans. They are Cruel Girl. Not the best sale. Probably wouldn't pick these up again. I paid $2.10 for these jeans and they only sold for $9.10 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $22.78, and after fees and shipping, I get $6.64. Sold this Nike hoodie. It already had some, you can probably see the different colors. It already had some stains on it, so I bleached it some more. Thought it looked cool, but it took a while to sell and it didn't sell for much. I paid $1.45 for this hoodie and it sold for $12 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $22.39, and after fees and shipping, I get $9.73. This pair of cut from the cloth jeans. I paid $1.90 for these jeans and they sold for $14.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $25.73, and after fees and shipping, I get $10.08. This pair of Levi's 311s. This 311 model of jeans is not very desirable. I paid $1.58 and they only sold for $10 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $19.18, and after fees and shipping, I get $5.29. It's a pair of Adidas like windbreaker pants. These are the pants I sold once before and the buyer returned them saying they were fake. So we'll see what happens. The buyer just received these, so I'll wait and see if I get any feedback. I paid 95 cents for them and they sold for $13.49 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $20.50, and after fees and shipping, I get $8.92. Got a couple hats. Admittedly, I pick up hats a lot of times, not looking up each comp. I figure if I get a hat for 30 cents, I can sell it for at least $5. Not the best idea for everybody. I just enjoy selling hats. This was one of those on the low end, Slane Irish whiskey. It just kind of had that 90s, you know, it's not old, but it just had that classic, I don't know, snapback vibe to me. I paid 25 cents for this hat and it sold for $5.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $11.54, and after fees and shipping, I get $4.36. That's not a lot dollar-wise, but percentage-wise, it's about 13 times my money. And this is a Nike Disney Parks Nike golf hat. Nike Golf Disney Parks. I paid about 25 cents for this hat and it sold for $15 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $22.16, and after fees and shipping, I get $13.37. I sold this G.I. Joe figure. I paid 6 cents for this guy and it sold for $13.49 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $19.82, and after fees and shipping, I get $11.86. Sold this pair of Converse. They are low top suede with no insoles and different color laces. I paid $2 for these and they sold for $20 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $29 even, and after fees and shipping, I get $16.82. Sold this Yeti can cooler thing, but it didn't sell for much because it has a custom, I almost said embroidery, engraving on it. Don't know what T-Squad is, but I figured somebody would get it and put a sticker over it, call it good. I paid 90 cents for this and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $20.42, and after fees and shipping, I get $10.69. One thing I like to get from the bins that a lot of people pass up on are leather boots, whether they're cowboy boots or work boots. I think they're kind of heavy, so you're paying close to $5 for them. But some of them can do really well. And this is one style you should look out for. It's like the mountaineering style. Now these sold half off, so they weren't the best. If you get the right brand, some of these can sell for well over $100. These are vintage leather Sears mountaineering boots made in the USA. I paid $5.30 for these and they sold for $35 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $45 even, and after fees and shipping, I get $25.97. Sold this pair of Merrill slip-on waterproof shoes, and I paid $2.60 for these and they sold for $24.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $39.89, and after fees and shipping, I get $23.23. Just picked these up from the bins the other day and they sold within a day. And believe it or not, I found 3 pairs of Bose headphones. This is the second pair. The third one I have not listed yet. I have not tested them. But this is I believe it's battery powered. Yeah, you can put a battery in it, or it has this wire that can come undone, so you can have it wireless with a battery. Even like the leather, let's see if the leather's peeling there. These replacements, they're not actual Bose ones. Online are only like $3 or something. They're pretty cheap. But both, the same pair I've sold, both of them have had issues like this where the leather's wearing out, and they still sell. As I was taking this screenshot, I realized it said repeat buyer, and the same buyer that bought this pair actually bought the last pair I sold as well. I only paid 37 cents for these, and they sold for $44.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $51.34, and after fees and shipping, I get $35.65. Now I sell part-time. I am trying to ramp up. I would really like to do this full-time. I feel like a lot of people who are maybe struggling can gain a lot from reselling. You can earn a lot of extra money that way, and it's fairly simple. There's a lot of nuances, but I feel like my content is more geared towards a new reseller, and so if you're new, I don't want you to look at a YouTuber or YouTube reseller who has 100,000 followers and try to copy exactly what they do. So when you're first starting out, at least for me, this is what I did. The name of the game was just try to get some money, try to save every penny I can, try not to waste money. So what I'm saying is, when you start out, you don't need a thermal printer. You don't need to get the cross-listing apps. You don't need to have a custom shipping table. You don't need, I don't know, whatever else that people are selling. You don't need a reselling bookkeeper. You don't need all these things that are great, and if you want to move your business to the next level, once you get to that point, they can help you out tremendously. But when you're starting out, you don't need that. It wasn't until after my first real year of reselling where I was doing it consistently, and consistently could be listing as much as you can on the weekend, ship throughout the week, as much as you can on the weekend, ship throughout the week. It doesn't have to be listing every day, but it was when I started taking it more serious and started doing it consistently. After that year, and I realized, okay, I want to keep doing this, then I bought a Rollo printer. So for that year, and prior to that, I was doing it for a few other, several years. I just wasn't doing it consistently, and I would just do it as a hobby, really, and would go to the thrift store. I didn't even know about the bins. Go to the thrift store once a month, pick a couple things out, try to make a couple bucks. Or I was into the Funko Pops for a while, and I would get them and I would customize them and sell them on eBay. But I was just using my regular printer, cutting out the labels and taping them on. I didn't even move to sticky paper until like a month before I got a Rollo. Now, that thing's amazing, and there's different thermal printers. I don't care which one anyone uses, whatever works for you. If I have to buy a new one, I'm going to buy a generic one because I heard they work just as good as Rollo. But my thermal printer has worked great, and it is a huge time saver. But if you're selling 1 or 2 items a week, I don't think that's worth the investment. And for like shipping supplies, you can buy a shelf or make your own makeshift whatever it is, or just have a stack of boxes in the corner and reuse boxes. I still use my Amazon boxes that we get. I take boxes from work all the time. I do buy lots of packaging materials now, but I still do reuse those items because why not? And when you're first starting out, if you're trying to save money and don't have money to buy a lot of supplies, you may have to go out and try to find those, go to a store and see what kind of, ask them if they have any boxes that they're going to get rid of, things like that. I still don't have an actual accountant. I get my bank statement every month, highlight the different sections for what they are, then add those numbers up and write out all those sections, what I got in payouts, what I paid for inventory, what I paid for supplies, my storage, because I have a storage unit, and how many miles I drove. And then I have my receipts stapled to the back. Add up those numbers at the end of the year, give them to my tax lady. It's that simple. I just don't want anybody to waste money when they don't need to. And I don't want anybody to think that they need all these things to start reselling. The cost of entry is real low on reselling. You should start by what you have in your house and know that you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to lose some money. You're going to have some bad buys. You're going to, not calculate the shipping correctly. Things like that. But it has gotten easier, I think, if starting now versus when I started. And there's so much content out there to learn from. So let me know your thoughts below, and let's break down these sales. For those items, including what the buyers paid for shipping, I have a total of $411.06 in sales. After fees, I'm left with $220.74, minus the cost of goods, which was $22.19, and that leaves me with $198.60. Take away 25% for taxes, which is $49.65, and that leaves me with $148.95. Invest 20% back into the business, which is $29.78, and that gives me $119.17. It's about 4 hours worth of work. So after all the fees and taxes and investing back into the business, that gives me an hourly rate of $29.79. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. God bless. Peace.